startup world. Paytm founder Vijay Shekhar Sharma is engaged in exploratory talks with potential investors, including the Adani Group. Sources say no clarity yet on the status of the talks or possible deal closure. Paytm and Adani deny any deal talks.
Y Combinator-backed BharatX acquires Zanifi, a healthcare finance startup providing zero-cost and low-cost EMI solutions. BharatX, which provides credit as a service to end users, will be entering the medical lending segment with this acquisition.
Euler Motors closes Series C funding round with an additional 200 crore rupees. On boards, Piramal Alternatives India Access Fund as a new investor, secures commitment from existing investors, British International Investment and Bloom Ventures. The EV maker has raised 570 crore rupees in the Series C round.
De facto Robotics, a robotics and automation solution provider, secures 40 crore rupees from Stakeboard Capital in its Series A round. The company will use the funds to expand across sectors like cars, home appliances and electronics.
A U.S. appeals court has set a fast-track schedule to consider the legal challenges to a new law requiring China-based ByteDance to divest TikTok's U.S. assets by January 19th or face a ban. The court ordered the case set for oral arguments in September after TikTok, ByteDance and a group of TikTok content creators joined with the Justice Department earlier this month in asking the court for a quick schedule.
Nvidia shares rallied around 6% to hit a record high, leaving the AI chipmaker's stock market value at about $100 billion away from overtaking Apple in a major reshuffle of Wall Street's biggest players. Last trading at $1,128, Nvidia's market capitalization reached $2.8 trillion compared to a market value of $2.9 trillion for Apple, which is Wall Street's second most valuable company after Microsoft.
Those were the headlines that we're tracking for you this evening, but straight to the big corporate story today. The founder and CEO of Paytm, Vijay Shekhar Sharma, is engaged in exploratory talks with potential investors, including the Adani Group. Sources told CNBC-TV18 that there is no clarity yet on the status of the talks or a possible deal closure. In a statement to stock exchanges, both Paytm and Adani have denied any deal talks. Ritu, you've been tracking all of this, so take us through what you're picking up from your sources.
Well, Arundhati, Paytm's founder Vijay Shekhar Sharma has indeed been engaging with potential suitors for these suitors to buy a stake in 197 Communications. And just one of those suitors that he sounded out is the Adani Group. But that said, there is no clarity on the status of these discussions or even any confirmation if this deal will actually fructify. It also remains unclear so far on whether Vijay Shekhar Sharma is looking to sell stake or one of the other investors in 197 Communications. Because if you look at the shareholding pattern, Vijay Shekhar directly holds 9.1% stake in the company. Another 10.28% stake is held by a firm registered by Vijay Shekhar Sharma called Resilient Asset Management in Netherlands. Now, if you recall, last August, Paytm had announced that Vijay Shekhar would acquire about 10.3% stake from their Chinese investor Antfin through an off-market transfer, whereby Resilient will issue OCDs to Antfin without any actual cash transfer. So Antfin continues to hold these OCDs, which it can choose to redeem or convert at a later date if it wishes, depending on the contours of the agreement between the two parties, which has not been made public. Now, Antfin also continues to hold nearly 10% stake in OCL, with other key investors including CEF Partners with a 15% stake, the company's directors with 9.3% stake, and so on. A quick word on Paytm Payment Bank as well, where OCL, of course, holds 49% stake. There are no talks to sell any direct stake in the bank just yet, from what we understand. And until all customer deposits in the bank and wallet are fully moved out, even the regulator is unlikely to proceed with the next steps or take any action. The Adani Group has called reports of selling or acquiring any stake rather in OCL baseless and false, while Paytm clarified to exchanges that the company is not engaged in any such discussions.
Right, Ritu, many thanks for taking us through all of those details. But moving on, AI-enabled mixed reality publishing platform Flam has raised 38 crore rupees in its pre-Series A round. TurboStart, Twin Ventures, Alphatron Capital and angel investors, along with several family offices, invested in this round. Existing backers such as SF-based Inventus Capital Partners, SVQ and 100 unicorns also invested. Joining me now to discuss this further is Shaurya Agarwal, the co-founder of Flam, and also with me, my colleague Ritu. Shaurya, thank you so much for taking time out and being here with us on Startup Street. Now, Flam's mixed reality technology is essentially helping transform advertisements into engaging experiences for customers, right? So it's something very new, a new take on all of this. So can you tell me what you exactly do and give us some of the use cases?
Sure. Thanks, Arundhati. Hi, Ritu. So essentially, see, advertising has been becoming more and more evolved over the last 30 years of internet. It was text-based advertising, then image-based advertising, then videos is the major way of advertising today. But I think consumers want more engaging ways of advertising. That's what we provide at Flam. So essentially, mixed reality is a way of advertising where you actively engage with the advertisement, you actively engage with the brand, and not just passively view ads like you've been doing for the last 30 years, whether it's a video ad or a newspaper ad or out-of-home ad. So that's exactly what Flam powers with its camera technology. So it's a publisher where anyone, any brand can easily publish mixed reality ads for viewers at scale, and anybody can access those ads from their phone camera without any kind of barrier of wearing a hardware or a Vision Pro or any kind of hardware at all. Also, there is no app download required. So it's a super seamless way of literally watching mixed reality ads and engaging with the brand in a much more immersive way.
Shaurya, hi, this is Ritu. Where are these ads seen? I mean, is it online only, or, who is the target really? And if you could take us through some of your most impactful campaigns so far.
Sure. In fact, this is exactly why we started Flam. We wanted to make mixed reality democratic for everyone. Everyone should be able to experience mixed reality at scale. So I don't know, I think almost every CMO in India and more than 20 million people have seen this ad recently from Britannia, which was published 2 months back. March 19th is when this ad went live on the Hindu newspaper. So essentially, the medium that we have created to publish mixed reality ads can be integrated across offline and online publishers. It could be newspapers, it could be magazines, it could be out-of-home billboards, it could be television, it could be Instagram, anything and everything that you can imagine in offline and online space. Our camera can enable mixed reality ads for viewers, and literally it's super seamless. So let's say I'll just give you a real use case where there was a Ranveer Singh picture on the newspaper, the Hindu newspaper, which has a 1.5 million circulation. Anybody can just open the camera on their phone, scan that particular image, and Ranveer Singh will start to talk to you. So that's super seamless way of engaging and experiencing its reality content.
Right. So super seamless, as you're saying, but you've raised the $4.5 million. Where do you plan to spend these funds, and how big is AI in your tech play, right, at this point?
So AI essentially is the backbone of how we are able to so easily say that the ads are seamless, right? Mixed reality has always been talked about for the last 10 years, but there have been multiple challenges to scale mixed reality and make sure that end users actually get to see it, use it in their everyday life, just like they use and interact with videos today. So definitely AI is in the whole play of how this technology has been developed and published for not just advertisers, but for the end users as well. Just to give you quick context, for example, when you open your camera and you try to read an image, how quickly can you recognize an image is something that requires sophisticated AI algorithms. And then the super seamless tracking as well. So while you're watching ads in mixed reality, it has to be super fast as an experience, both from the recognition point of view, rendering point of view, and then how seamlessly the real worlds and the physical worlds and the digital worlds blend with each other. So that kind of seamlessness requires very sophisticated AI algorithms.
Well, but Shaurya, the proof lies in the pudding. So tell us, with a business like this, what kind of revenues are you able to clock in? What kind of profits are you already making?
So we are definitely not optimizing for profits at this point. We are trying to hyper grow this whole platform and make sure 1 billion plus people actually get almost 100 million plus viewership has already happened on the platform since its launch 2 months back. The idea is to grow this to an extent where every advertiser has this as a part of their media plan. So the idea is to just grow right now, not just in North America or India, but every possible country, because we've been getting inquiries from all across, like from a small country like Czech Republic. We went live 3 weeks back, literally in 5 minutes. The platform is like super simple to take any advertiser live as quickly as possible. So small to large geographies, a small brand to a brand as big as Amazon, anybody can take it live in like 5 minutes for their users. So that is the intent right now, which is like hyper growth. Revenues, I can't share the numbers right now, but yes, it's in our control right now. We can take the company, make profitable whenever we really want. It's growing super fast, the revenue bit. Hopefully, we'll share revenues with all of you soon enough.
Yeah, I say you're growing super fast, but no numbers that you're divulging there. But Shaurya, thank you so much for joining us on the show today. We're completely out of time, and we wish you all the best going forward.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Yeah.
And Ritu, from mixed reality to insurance, it is, right?
Going to... Yes, insurance it is. Arundhati, consumer-focused Insurtech CoverSure has raised $4 million in a pre-Series A funding round, which was led by Enam Holdings. The company plans to use these funds to build a consumer-centric insurance engagement platform using data intelligence, and says it will, invest to support its growth and expansion plans across India and strengthen its position in the market. So joining us now to give us a glimpse into the startup's business and the significance of this funding is Saurabh Vijayvargiya, who's the founder and CEO of CoverSure. Also with me is my colleague Arundhati. Saurabh, welcome to Startup Street. Thanks for your time here. Start by telling us first about your institutional funding, the first that you raised of this $4 million. How will you be deploying it? And, what are your strategic priorities for scaling operations and expanding market presence?
Well, thank you so much, Ritu, for having me here and having CoverSure. Thank you, Arundhati. This funding is largely going to be deployed towards growth. And to us, it's largely a purpose-driven growth in the sense that we want to basically, ensure that for all these years when insurance has largely grown around sales, we've kind of built a very intuitive engagement platform wherein we will add tremendous value to the users, the ones who are already insured, and those massive numbers of Indians who are waiting to be insured. So it's largely around growth.
All right, Saurabh, Arundhati stepping in here. In what ways does CoverSure's approach differ from traditional insurance platforms? What is your USP and what is the market gap that you've identified and that you're solving for at this point?
Right. Okay. Arundhati, this is the usual way that we actually do. Allow me to ask you a bunch of questions, perhaps which can just, put out our entire strategy. Do you know where your insurance policies are? Right? If you were to be given, say, about 10 minutes, would you be able to get all of your insurance at a single location, just the way your stocks or mutual funds are? Right? So that's one. How confident would a person be, with respect to the insurance that they hold? Would they know to what degree they are not covered within an existing insurance? And lastly, in India, or perhaps maybe in the world, 99% of the insurance related decisions are taken by male in the house, and the families are largely not aware about the insurance. So around these four fundamental pillars is what we have built the platform. And then we have created several modes, right? So that people get a high degree of confidence on what they hold with respect to insurance. We have deployed deep machine learning, and data intelligence to ensure that there is continuous value, which is kind of going back to the users. So it's not just about the claim. There is a lot in insurance beyond the claims. And our objective is to really, build deep tech around it and keep on growing, not just directly to, in B2C manner, but the entire stack that we've built is in modular way, and we would be, partnering with very, very large institutions to take it in a modular fashion across to people.
Right. And you currently provide insurance across health, life, motor, and travel segments, right? Are there other segments you're exploring? Who are the various insurance providers you've partnered with for this?
Yeah, so, the strategy is that we want to be working with very select insurance companies because at the very core of it, there is a high degree of product innovation. But what Indian consumers are largely looking for is very high degree of service, and very, very seamless experience around the claims. So to that extent, we want to be working with very, very select, and at the base, from a backend standpoint, we might be sort of working with more insurers, but we want to bring out the new solutions, from a bunch of select insurers.
Well, Saurabh, what sort of business momentum are you seeing after nearly 1 year of starting operations in terms of the key metrics? How have they panned out? And if you could give our viewers a sense of, what the growth trajectory for CoverSure is looking like from here on with the current regulatory environment.
Yeah. So, Ritu, while we started about a year back, we just got our license in January this year. So we are at an early stage in terms of the revenue numbers, but in terms of the user traction, we are kind of growing at about 50% to 55% on a week-on-week basis. I really can't divulge, the extent of revenue or the overall user base that we have. But just to give you a color, because of the sheer volume at the base level, which is there in the metros in India, we are getting a lot of traction from the top metros in India. But very, very interesting trends are coming from the tier 1 and tier 2 cities of India. And nearly 70% of our user base is in the age bracket of 30 to 49. And, we are tracking an average ticket size of close to about 75,000 at a per user level, which is significantly higher as compared to where the industry average is of close to about 17 to 20,000.
Well, Saurabh, unfortunately, that's all the time we have. But thank you very much for sharing your thoughts here with us on Startup Street. And it was a pleasure speaking with you.
Thank you so much, Ritu. Thank you. Thank you, Arun.
On that note, it is time for us to head into a short break. But coming up, we put the spotlight on the rise of dream sports and how it's catalyzing India's multi-sports ecosystem. A special discussion on the other side. Stay tuned.
Today we have exciting conversations lined up as we delve into how Dream Sports is catalyzing India's transformation into a multi-sports ecosystem. In a country where cricket has long reigned supreme, we know that we're witnessing a remarkable shift towards a diverse sport culture. And Dream Sports is actually at the heart of this transformation. So joining us today are three distinguished guests. Why are they distinguished? I'll tell you. Because one, we have Vikrant Mudaliar, who's the Chief Marketing Officer at Dream Sports. Secondly, we have Monish Shah, founder and CEO of Dream Set Go. And then we have Yannick Kulako, who's the co-founder of Fan Code. These industry leaders will share their insights on how technological advancements, digital engagement, and strategic initiatives, as well as renowned sport partnerships, are driving the growth of various sports beyond cricket. Let's talk about the evolution of India's sporting fandom, so to say. You go first. Talk about how do you think this has evolved? What are the drivers for the same? And more importantly, where does this go from here?
What's heartening to note, and Dream Sports has had a sort of front side seat of the way the sports landscape and fandom has evolved over the last 10 years or so. So one I think is very clearly is the emergence of the non-cricket sports fan.
Right.
Dream Sports, for example, very often people don't realize this, offers 12 sports, besides just cricket. I'm sure cricket is by far the most popular one. But I think this uptake and this appetite for non-cricket sports is a healthy sign of the whole sports fandom ecosystem. You can be a sports fan in this country without being a cricket fan. Yeah, right. There are multiple sports that you can follow. I think India doing well at the global level or even at the Asian level has meant that that kind of fan following for other sports has also evolved. The second, I think, landmark shift that has happened over the last decade is what one can probably refer to as the emergence of this digital sports fan.
Right.
So much of sports consumption, sports content consumption is now happening digitally. Again, Dream 11 and is a fantasy sports app and is completely digital. Our 220 million users consume and engage with the app only on digital. There's a lot which has happened in the ecosystem, which has benefited not just sports fans, but also other industries, whether it's fintech or e-commerce. This could be the mobile handset penetration in the country, cheap, subscription data plans, the ease of doing financial transactions. A lot of that has meant that so much of sports content right now is being consumed online. And I think it would be unfair to say that the current modern digital sports fan in India actually is a digital sports fan. So that's the other bit that, at Dream Sport also we have noticed happen over the years.
Let's ask Yannick about, the long tail sports that we have beyond cricket. So if you look at India, there would be cricket at the peak, and there's a very long tail of all the other sports that he spoke about, be it, the Indian sports or be it Bharat sports or some international sports as well. Right. How has that evolution come about as per what you've seen in Fan Code?
So I think one of the key things that you look at in India over the last decade or so is that young India has very clearly built a very strong affiliation to sport. So you see a lot of young kids today playing sport and following sport across various formats, right? Whether it is, obviously cricket is the most popular sport, but there are a whole lot of other sports with football, motor racing, kabaddi, volleyball, hockey, which have got a tremendous amount of following. And the reality is that for any sport to grow, what is really important is access and engagement.
Right.
Access is something which is critical. If you actually think about how a young fan gets exposed to a sport and he actually becomes a fan, its first thing is the ability to watch the game live.
Right.
Watch these stories of competition, winning, losing, this athletic kind of endeavor, which they've never seen before. Watch that live and be able to then build some affiliation to it. So access to that live sports content is something we actually set up Fan Code to solve. Because while obviously the big cricket events got a lot of exposure and everyone had access to, most other sport didn't have great access, sports fans didn't have great access to it in India. So as we kind of build Fan Code, we've now done we have over 20,000 live matches across 10 sports. We continue to provide more access of this to sports fans across the country, across various sports, from kabaddi, which is more popular in tier 2 and tier 3 towns, to motorsport, and Formula 1, which has 60 million fans across the country. Providing that access is essentially what's going to help build the sports ecosystem in this country. And when you look at the contribution both from an access and engagement perspective, that's where we as a group, Dream Sports, comes together, which is access on Fan Code, engagement through fantasy sport. How do you actually build that fan profile across the sport and build engagement around it?
We speak to a lot of these tourism companies, and they're saying that in India, two kinds of tourism are now picking up. One is spiritual tourism, the other one is sports tourism. We saw that in the Cricket World Cup, but we are also seeing an increasing number of people attending sports events beyond cricket, not just in India, but in the entire world as well. What do you think have been the key factors driving this? And secondly, how big is this mass of people who are traveling? At what rate is it growing?
I mean, if you're looking at outbound tourism on an annual basis, is growing at around 10% CAGR.
Right.
Sports tourism is growing at 17.5% CAGR,
Wow.
which means there's a huge demand. It's growing at a much faster pace. As the millennials and the number of millennials within the country is increasing, they're wanting experiences over ownership. And we've seen that post-COVID. We've seen huge demand for young families wanting to have experiences to travel to international locations to watch sporting events live, and then have a sport experience which goes beyond the game as well. So there's a huge growing demand for families, corporates, groups to want experiences which is like watch the first team train, go pitch side, meet and greet with legends, getting a private tour of the stadium with a legend.
Wow.
Experiences otherwise which were categorized as money can't buy experiences and previously seen as probably a one-off experience that only the ultra HNI used to get. But now we're seeing an increasing demand from all sets of our target audiences wanting to go beyond the game.
How is Dream Sports integrating this entire experience and taking, sport beyond cricket, growing it across the country?
Yeah. So actually, Dream Sports is in a very unique position in the sense that we have a very synergistic, symbiotic relationship with sport. Dream Sports' vision is to make sports better. What's good for sports is good for Dream Sports in general. So I think it comes with that little bit of onus and responsibility to look beyond your own business model and your individual businesses to see what more can we do to try and improve the status of the sports ecosystem in the country. So for the sports fan, if you are interested in fantasy sports, there's Dream 11.
Yeah.
And hopefully we're turning passive sports fans into active sports fans. If you want to watch or consume, a lot of the sports content that, Yannick was talking about, then there's Fan Code.
Right.
Yeah. If you are a fan and want to display your fandom by buying official merchandise, well, then there's Fan Code Shop.
Right.
And if you want to actually experience it and go in and watch it, a game or a match in a stadium, Dreamset Go will play that role. And if you want to play a mobile game or a sports mobile game, a Dream Game Studios probably will have an answer for you.
Today's discussion revealed Dream Sports' transformative role in broadening India's sports landscape. Our guests highlighted how technology and digital engagement are expanding fan base, especially in Tier 2 and beyond cities, fostering a deeper connection with various sports beyond cricket. The focus on sports tourism and community upliftment shows a commitment to inclusive growth and nurturing local talent. Thank you to our guests for their insights and our audience for joining in this enlightening conversation. We look forward to seeing how these initiatives continue to shape India's evolving sports ecosystem.